Gotta watch me.
Actually, those are the most stolen things from the store
It's the most. People take this.
without paying for them.
You know you have good stuff when people try to steal it, yeah? It's a good sign.
It's worse than being on stage, to be honest.
Relax, man. All right. Just say what you gotta say.
Okay, okay. Gata? Okay, so here we are at Nutriland in Romania with Dorian Yates, the legendary 6 times Mr. Olympia. Nice to meet you, Dorian.
How do you do, man?
Fine,
Good to
fine.
meet you.
It's an honor to meet you. Like, I feel a lot of pressure being around you. You have been an inspiration for a lot of Romanians and for a lot of people. And today I want to ask you some questions.
Sure.
To provide guidance to the youth, let's say.
Yeah, it's great that there's a lot of interest in fitness and bodybuilding. It's growing here in Romania, so it's great that DY is here.
Yeah, it is. And it's a great company, and they have a lot of products that are very useful in our careers as athletes.
We are making more, and always like the highest quality is very important to myself and all the team. So yeah, go ahead, man. Ask me what you
Okay,
want.
my first question. So after a legendary bodybuilding career, how do you maintain your motivation and discipline?
You know, it's just the same. I think it's what I built my life on was discipline and goal setting, and it's just different now because I'm not an athlete, you know. So I have discipline for my business. I still do my training, but I don't do heavyweight training because of the injuries. But it's not really, you know, when you talk about discipline, sometimes it's you have to do things you don't like. You know, you discipline yourself to do it. So I wouldn't say it's tremendous discipline for me to like eat properly and take care of my health and my training. You know why? Because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. So it's a part of you.
Yeah, it's a part of me, and it's more flexible than before. You know, now I'm just training for health, so it's not necessary to eat 6 times a day and all these things. Before I was regimented and I must do it. Now I eat a couple of times a day and I eat good food, and I do some weight training, lightweight training, a couple of times a week. I do some cycling. I do some mobility stuff like Pilates or yoga, and it's my lifestyle. It's like it's part of it. You know, it's like get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. I go exercise, and I like it and I enjoy it. So I'm not having to like push myself to do something which I don't enjoy. So it's quite easy to discipline yourself like that.
Great, great. Do you do any physical therapy exercises before your workouts?
I do like kind of warm up mobility and stretching stuff before the workout, maybe 10 minutes, or even if I'm not working out, I'm on the road. Stretching and movement is part of my daily, exercise. But I do once a week private with a Pilates trainer. So this is specific for the, smaller muscles and the core strength, posture, all these things that's going to be more important as I'm getting older. That's why I'm training now. So I can be, I can be active and fit when I get to 70 years old, hopefully, and so on. So that's the goal now, to be fit for life, it's not a competition anymore.
That's a great mentality. What are the most common mistakes you see in beginner athletes? And how can a supplement store like Nutriland, or how can Dorian Yates as a supplement company help them?
Well, if you go online, I'm quite active there, giving practical advice from when I train people in the gym, and we have small clips from that. So it's real advice while I'm training people. So you can listen to that. I think the biggest mistake now is just there's too much information. People get confused and they look at the latest thing or the latest exercise, or this guy saying that and that guy saying that. And please, guys, I don't care which guy you listen to or which exercise he tells you to do, unless you're doing it with real effort and you're really pushing yourself, it's useless, okay? So there's too much, and there's too many people online who are supposed to be experts. When you have been in this game for 40 years and you've won 6 Mr. Olympia titles and you've trained other people and you've been in the gym all that time, then you're an expert. Okay, so listen to the real experts. These are people that's actually done it. Okay, I cannot be an expert on climbing a mountain, Mount Everest, because I've never done it. Okay, so how I can be an expert on it? By reading a book. The real experts are the people that do things. Listen to them.
Exactly. Okay, and now these are my personal questions. What are your 3 go-to supplements?
Okay, so let me tell you, the first supplement I used when I was young, and I have used it all the time. I mean, here's the thing with me. You can go back and get my book from 1993. I was always a big supplement user and a believer in supplementation and somebody researching supplementation, which is not the case with many of the athletes that endorse things. They don't really know anything about the supplements and nutrition. They just put their face on it. So
Exactly.
I have been studying and using supplements all my life. And protein was the first supplement I used. It's the most basic because you need a high level of protein and it's difficult to get it. You need to eat protein 5 or 6 times a day. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe it's not convenient to always have a chicken breast or eggs or steak or something like that. It's great, but sometimes you can't. So I always got into a habit of using protein powder probably twice a day as a protein source when I was training heavy. So that was number one. Good
Okay.
quality protein, like a protein whey isolate of a high quality from a good company, yes. Not from people that don't put the real things in the products. So that's the first thing. Second thing I say, and now there's so much research on creatine as an effective supplement to increase strength, to help with muscle mass, recovery. It's all out there. And the new research actually on mental health, on the brain, is very important. So in my opinion, everybody, man, woman, should be taking creatine. Even if you're not going to the gym, you're concerned about your, mental health. Look into creatine. So there's protein, creatine. After that, I would probably go for the pre-workout because your gains are the result of the workout, right? So if you can take something to make the workout better, to make it more intense, to get more blood flow, things like this, more intensity, then that would be the third choice. So those are the basics that I think everyone should look into. And then, you can look at what else you might need on top of that. But those are the top 3 basics for sure.
Okay, these were always on the market. But what about the new and up and coming supplements? Do you have a thought about 1 or 2 new supplements like ashwagandha or tonkatali?
I don't have experience with those, to be honest. Tonkat Ali was promising, but I don't see too much really positive testosterone boost and everything that we were thinking about. But let's say even a pre-workout, we didn't have them at all. You're too young to remember. In the 90s, we don't have pre-workouts. They don't exist. What you have is a caffeine
Exactly.
or ephedrine, which was highly stimulant. But the problem with that, after a while, you can get burnt out because your nervous system gets overstimulated. And anyway, ephedrine is not on the market now. For instance, citrulline for extra blood flow, we didn't have that. Beta-alanine, we didn't have that. So the pre-workouts now is much more refined
Yeah, that's true.
for what you want. And then, there's a lot of supplements that I use, which is more on the health side, like N-acetylcysteine, melatonin, so many things like that, which I'm going to bring out in the new line, because it's not specifically bodybuilding, it's more like health and wellness.
Okay, great. If you can only do 4 back exercises for the rest of your life, what would they be?
I probably only ever did 4 back exercises, so I'll tell you what they were. Nautilus pullover, close grip pull down, barbell row, maybe a cable row or a machine row, but pullovers, pull downs, rows, do them every workout. Don't change for some bullshit one-arm cables thing that you saw on TikTok, yeah? Waste of time. Do pullovers, do pull downs, do rows, and maybe deadlifts. And if that don't work, try tennis or something else.
Okay, so if you can do these 4 exercises, how many sets would you do for them? And out of those sets, how many would be to total failure?
So the first exercise, which in my opinion should be the pullover as an isolation exercise, I would probably, after I've already done a general warm-up, okay? So I've done a light pull down, some light stuff. I would do one set light, maybe 50% of your projected goal maximum. Second set medium, maybe 75% of that. And then the last set to failure.
Okay.
If you have somebody to spot you, just to get in the last 4 reps, that's great. If you feel like you didn't really nail it on that set, you can do a second set. But if you do it right, you don't need it. Okay, move on. Pull downs. 1 set to warm up because we're already warmed up, but we're bringing the biceps in. That was not in. So we're going to do 1 set there, medium, to warm up. Then we're going to do 1 set to failure. And then we're going to go to rows and we're going to do the same thing. And we'll go to cable rows and do the same thing.
Okay.
So there we have a total of maybe 9 sets, but some of them are warm-up sets. So really, if you do an exercise and you do it correctly and you do it to failure, you don't need to do another set.
Okay, I understand. Which would be better for muscle building, to go for form failure or to total failure as a beginner?
What's the difference? Tell me.
For example, total failure would be when you can't move the segment not even for 20% of its range of motion, and form failure would be then when you can't do the exercise with full range of motion with proper form.
I would say the going to failure with proper form would be first. Because you need to learn the pathways, you need to learn the movement, and afterwards, when you get accustomed to that, you can think about extra techniques to increase the intensity beyond that. Yeah, like if you're on a machine, you can go to failure, but if somebody lifts it to the top, you can probably lower it down.
Exactly.
So you still have some strength left in the negative or partials or something like that. So these are techniques which I don't believe you should use them on every set. You know, sometimes when you're more advanced and you're working on a weak body part, maybe, but it's something you can overuse and people get a bit, nervous system is possible to get overtrained if you overuse those too much. So super intense techniques beyond normal failure, yes, but not on every exercise. I would reserve them for where you know, maybe you want to specialize on some body part.
So you would prefer a straight set to failure over a metabolic technique or a high intensity technique like drop sets, myo reps, and I don't know, giant sets? Do you think it's superior?
I don't like to rush from one exercise to another.
Okay.
So I think this is a waste of time. And also, I mean, it depends what you want. I'm talking pure muscle building, bodybuilding here. Exactly. If you want to run around from one exercise to another, you will get some muscle stimulation, you will get some cardio, you'll get a bit of everything. Great. Yeah. If you're a martial artist or something, this is probably great. But for bodybuilding, no. You need to focus on this exercise and you need to focus 100%. If you think, oh, I have to run now to this, it's dividing your focus. So I'd rather you do an exercise and do it properly. And when we say to failure, with good form, yeah, it takes a lot of concentration to do an exercise correctly and to do it correctly to failure. Because most people will do it correctly. When it gets difficult, they start to use the body or use some outside force. So learn to do the exercise properly and do it to failure with proper form.
Okay. Thank you, Dorian. This
Okay.
is all. Thank you very much.
All right.